much chaos, because now you're thinking, okay, well, I'm in this region. I'm used to fighting players from this region. Just kidding. There's 5 other regions that I have to worry about and how they play in their region. Mad. Now, Kelly, you brought up a good point here. Duos that I wanted to kind of focus in on. We got to talk about Zagu. We got to talk about Peppo Clip. We saw Zagu back at the Invitational, and man, they put on quite a bit of performance, so they're hoping to bring some of that experience to today.
Yeah, I mean, after game number 3 of day 1 of Invitational, Zagu and his duo back then, Mareem, they were actually in 2nd place. So a lot of teams, a lot of people would sort of see Asia as a smaller region and not put them in their top 3, but they have every reason to be in people's top 3. They're going to come out strong, they're going to come out aggressive, and they're going to be feisty.
They're also going to be coming out of Eclipse State, one of the new POIs we're seeing this season. And let me tell you, this is an incredible POI, potentially unconned as well. Not only are they going to have the rifts that are near them, allowing them to rotate, but they're also going to have those 3 mythic podiums, kind of giving just a little bit more chance for that RNG of what mythic's going to be dropping there. Also, they had a great performance in Majors 1 and 2, getting that 1st place finish in Major 1, and then a 2nd place finish in Major 2.
Major 3, though, they actually split. They decided to play with different teams or different teammates. Didn't actually work out as well for them. So now they're back together. They're feeling good, and hopefully they'll get back to their winning ways.
That's right. We will definitely be focusing on them, but more duos to highlight across this entire lobby list of players. Let's take a look at Suns and Anon from OCE. What can you tell me about these guys?
These guys are the back-to-back Major 1 and Major 2 Grand Final winners. Coming from OCE, as you mentioned, they are a fantastic duo. They're one of only 3 duos that actually go back-to-back, winning each different majors. So I'm excited to see what they can do today. A little stat from both of those winning majors. In all 24 games that they played of those Grand Finals, they only failed to pick up an elimination in 1 of those games. So expect some electric gameplay from them. Expect some aggression for sure.
I love that you're talking about aggression eliminations, because I'm going to talk about placements now, because in Major 2, out of the 12 games they played, in 11 of them they placed top 15, which is just unheard of. My only concern, though, is that they're landing naughty nets, which isn't the most beneficial POI. They also have the likes of Queasy and Vino landing just to the west of them, so that's going to be a little scary.
It's a difficult spot to get Storm Surge from. Naughty nets has been traditionally one of those spots, particularly on OC. They don't have to practice on the global stage. I'm interested to see what they can bring to it today, because they're going to have to pull out a few strategies.
For sure. Kelly, you said a duo, Queasy Veno. Why not talk about the other side of that coin? You know we have to talk about this. Cammy, Seti, right? Your invitational winners. They went from winning the invitational to not having the best start in Major number 1. But following, they really picked up the pace.
Yeah, I mean, we know this duo from this moment, isn't it, Kelly? What a moment this was. Invitational, Queasy and Veno contesting them at their drop spot, and we all know how this went.
I mean, knowing your POI and the ins and outs is so pivotal, and we see that in this moment at the Invitational, why that made such a difference, why Queasy and Vino didn't know that you couldn't build a wall there, and that's what separated them from success and failure. And I think they kind of got a little taste of their own medicine, because in Major 3, you saw them have a little, Major 1, they had a kind of a rough start, getting 23rd place right there. In Major 2, though, they got 5th place, and then in Major 3, getting 4th place, top 5 in 6 of the 12 games.
Yeah, and as you can see, they're landing at Frenzy Field today. The biggest question mark for this duo for this competition today is that they are actually contested, which is something we haven't seen from them since Major 1 this year. They didn't have a great major, as you said, Kelly, but for them, they've been practicing a lot off spawn at the moment, and even they've actually been practicing their drops in Duo Cash Cups at Kenjutsu Crossing. At Kenjutsu Crossing. It's Queasy and Veno. Yeah, so I wonder why they could be practicing their drop at not their drop spot.
Probably no reason. There's probably no way that matters in any way, shape, or form. It's probably going to happen, at least we hope, even just a single time. Now, the beauty of being here in this setting is that we have the players standing by. We can actually talk with them. And who better to do that than none other than Frankie, who is standing by right here, right now, with none other than the man himself, Seti.
Yes, I am. I'm very excited. To be honest, I'm quite nervous, and he is cool as a cucumber, because this man is no stranger to success at an international LAN. Seti, is this bringing back memories of the Invitational?
This is definitely bringing back many memories, and we're here to make some more.
Was that the best moment of your life, lifting the trophy in Rally?
Yeah, 100%, and I'm ready to make another one.
How do you top that, though?
I guess we'll have to see.
So tell me about this year, because it feels like you guys have been on upwards trajectory, and you've had to adapt your playstyle from just being low ground to sometimes actually challenging for high ground. What's that been like?
It's been great. It's been great adapting because now we can play low ground, mid ground, and high ground. So just great combination.
What about aggression? Because you're not necessarily a team that does go for eliminations. You do like to make the end game. Do you think that's going to be difficult for you to rack up those all-important points here?
I don't think it's going to be difficult at all. We're going to make end game. We're going to make some eliminations, win some games, and that's it.
Are there going to be any interesting off-spawn battles coming your way?
Oh yeah, obviously.
And what will happen if people do drop you?
I'll just be prepared.
I can't wait to see it. I imagine you and Cami will be incredibly prepared. Thank you so much, Seti. Polska Gorum.
Polska Gorum.
Thank you so much, Frankie. And of course, Seti, you can see the focus in his eyes. He is looking to prove something. Could they be the ones to get the back-to-back from Invitational all the way up to Global Champion?
I think if you ask a lot of people, they would say yes. I mean, the type of players that they are, the way that they are, their sort of mindset towards the game, very, very cool. You saw it in that interview. Very, very cool. Very, very calm and collected. It's a duo you got to look out for.
Without a doubt.
Absolutely. Well, let's keep this ball rolling because we know we want games. Let's talk about the format. What does this look like? So we kind of talked about it. We have an upper bracket, a lower bracket, but let's break that down. So today and tomorrow we have 5 games lined up. Then the top 25 from today will go straight to day 3 in the grand finals. The players that in that bottom 25 will go to day number 2, where players from the last chance major are waiting. Then in day 2, that lower bracket, the top 25 from there, will move on to day number 3. That will give us the top 50 best duos from around the world.
Yeah, this is going to be very, very exciting. I mean, this is something that we haven't seen too much before. I think a lot of players might be thinking, oh, you know what? Day number 1, upper bracket, is just a good sort of day to have an extra one in the bank, right? You might see day number 2 as kind of like a backup in case things don't go well on day 1, but no. You want to get rid of that mindset. Make sure you do it now. Make sure you're qualifying right here because you want to get it done early. You don't want to leave it till tomorrow if you can't.
Well, especially because all of these duos have been preparing for this day. In day 2, it's 25 new duos that they'll be facing against with drop spots that they aren't too sure of. So that is definitely going to throw a wrench in some things. And also, a lot of these duos are used to having a day 2 to kind of prepare and research, but they're not really getting a 12-game series here.
Yeah, and I like that you kind of talk about this day 2, 25 new teams. There's just so much to track of, especially when you have things like the points, right? We have 65 points for the Victory Royale. Every elimination is worth 4 points, and we cannot forget those all-important mid-match objective points.
Yeah, mid-match objectives obviously been recently introduced to the game. They already had a new dynamic to the game. Of course, we have the Forecast Towers worth 3 points, and of course, the Rift Island worth 15 points. It's an absolutely huge sum. A lot of players will actually sort of dictate their playstyle around those mid-match objectives, particularly with that island. We see teams going for that and making it almost their gameplay personality, going for that island every single game. And even the drop spot choice for the Forecast Towers, for some teams, that's absolutely vital.
Yeah, and it's not just the points they're going for. The Forecast Tower gives you forecast. It is an absolutely incredible thing to have in the game, knowing where every zone is going to be, getting those early rotations, putting yourself in a high advantage position, and grabbing those Storm Surge tags. I can't wait to see how these teams utilize it.
I cannot wait. You guys have got me hyped up. Of course, we're talking about what this looks like, these off-spawn fights. Well, let's hear from the players themselves. Check this out.
Being contested just means that at the spot you land, you have another team with you.
It's kind of like 50% chance like that you survive. You need to be lucky, get the right guns, get in the right position.
If you want to have good loot, you're going to have to fight for a spot.
Often it's seen to be a bad thing, but sometimes it can be good as well.
We're dropping on the racetrack. Currently we're contested by Aegis and Canada. I wouldn't say that I'm scared of them. We've been playing against better players off spawn than them, for sure.
We're landing Pinkstook, so it's like in the middle of almost like all the good POIs. And we're contested by Acorn and Cold, and we're probably just going to try eliminate them as fast as possible.
They're good fighters, but I think that me and Acorn are just better.
La verdad es que no tenemos ningún plan, solo que si ellos van a querer fightear, vamos a tener que terminar peleando y nosotros no tenemos miedo.
The main things I look for when landing a POI is how much metal it has. Wood and brick is everywhere around the map, but if you can get cap metal, you're already at an advantage.
if you don't get a gun instant, you have a really good chance of like getting out of the game really quick.
If you can't get a good drop spot, it just makes life 10 times harder for you. It's just one of the most important parts of the game.
If you're thinking of landing on us, good luck.
We've had teams contested. They got last place. We can try again.
If I eliminate Thomas and Malibu 6 games in a row, I'm 100% winning this thing.
Everyone that contests us is going to get eliminated. They're finished. They're finished.
Well, this is kind of interesting because I've just heard you two talking about each other in the video that we recorded on Media Day. And Thomas, you said that you have faced Osborne battles against better players than Canada before. Can you look him in the eyes now and just reiterate that statement, please?
I mean, most EU players, like, in the top level is better than the NA players, so, I mean, that's kind of true, but, like, you know me, like, I'm the FNCS winner just won, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to see today, like, who's really the GOAT, you know what I'm saying?
And you also said, Canada, that if you win all the Osborne battles today, you're taking that trophy. But I thought, after watching your Major 3 winners interview on FNCS, that you didn't care about winning here.
I mean, like, being contested, like, it sucks. Like, I was contested, like, FNCS Major 2, and, like, you can't really do anything about it. But, like, when I heard I was coming to Copenhagen, like I'm not gonna lie, I'm here to find a girlfriend, you know what I'm saying? The Danish girls are here, they're pretty beautiful, so.
Can I keep your eyes on the prize, though? Because there is a trophy out there. You're going to go and have a date with it in a moment. So you have a think about what really matters in life, and I'll give you a hint. It's Fortnite. And I'm going to come back to Thomas, because I want to know why you're so devoted to dropping at racetrack.
I mean, we've been landing there the entire year, so we wouldn't switch drop. Like, it would be dumb. We haven't practiced anything else, so yeah.
And what's happened when other people have tried to drop you there?
I mean, it's been ups and downs, but we're trying to, like, learn how to play it the best. But yeah.
You don't want to just learn how to play it the best, though. You want to play it the best, especially if this guy is coming at you all aggressive and American-like. What do you think you'll have to do, though, if the battles don't go your way? Are you going to agree to just split the POI, or is it just going to always be all-out aggression?
It's going to be 50-50 on the slope truck every game. So, I mean, Canada haven't touched the game for 4 days, so... I played this morning for like 2-3 hours. I'm feeling good. My finger's looking good, so I'm looking good.
And just one more question. How long did you play this morning?
I didn't play this morning, but I played like all week, so yeah.
He's fresh, he's warmed up, and I'm excited. Let's head back to the desk.
Canada, always the jokester that he is. This is an off-spawn fight we will be seeing happen at the racetrack. Obviously, Canada, coming off a recent win, does hold the axe of champions. Going up against Thomas HD, someone who has yet to get a win. What can we expect from this head-to-head fight?
This head-to-head is going to be very, very exciting. I mean, we've seen Malibu and Thomas HD. They're actually contested in Major 2 by Tucson Victory, and they actually still managed to get a 3rd place. They were kind of half-splitting the POI at that stage, so I think they might sort of do the same maybe if it's on day 2, but day 1, they still have tomorrow to go. I think it's going to be all out 50-50, as they mentioned. They've got to go for it.
Yeah, and it's a little bit of a different story for Canada and Agers, who, when they were contested in Major 2, got 12th place, and then when they were unconned, of course, in Major 3, they walked away with their first FNCS win. And a lot of that was due to their loot pathing, being able to quickly loot up the entire racetrack, and then be able to rotate quickly for an early tower to get the first tag. But I think there's a possibility to split racetrack. There's great metal and brick. It's splittable by the west and eastern side. You have the slurp truck on the west side, and then you have that forecast tower towards the eastern side. So, I mean, they just said it's a 50-50. I do think that once one of them sees how rough it's going to be for them on the drop, that they might try and split it.
I mean, I spoke to Malabuki yesterday. I had a little talk with him. I was like, mate, how you feeling about tomorrow? He said, it's duos. Anything can happen. We don't know what's going to go down. And I'm sure for a lot of fans in here, for a lot of fans all over Denmark, they'll be feeling like this is Thomas's destiny, right? Hasn't won an FNCS yet. And what better place, what better time to do it than now?
And Thomas just is regarded as one of the best mechanical players in the world. Yeah. Teamed up with Malabuga, who's regarded as one of just the best players in the world. I cannot wait to see this duo go up against Canada and Agers.
Let's keep this conversation going. We have to talk about more duos. Relentless streak. Al Gamer up against King. Yes, it's that King. Top 5 of the World Cup King. Probably VR's best player, or regardless the best player. That King.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is relentless retreat. Anything can go down, Kelly. This is where it all happens. We've seen different playstyles from these guys throughout this season. Of course, Cal Gamer getting it unconned in Middle East. Everyone in Middle East is just feeling like, you know what, yeah, let's just let him have it. He's the king of this area. But King himself has been actually contested by another duo throughout all the cash jobs, and they don't seem to be fighting. They seem to just sort of be splitting the POI a little bit. So I'm interested to see how this dynamic works between them both.
I like that you're talking about the dynamic differences that we see, because both of these duos here also have a lot of similarities. Both of them back-to-back champions in Major 2 and Major 3 for their respective regions. But I love that you talk about might be one of the most serious players that we have ever seen in Fortnite, comparable to players from just any region from around the world. And again, Relentless Retreat is a splittable POI,
yeah.
but what I'm interested in seeing is that it takes about a minute to be able to get down into different POIs, and whichever team is able to get down there first is probably going to have the upper hand.
And I'm really glad you mentioned that, because I was actually speaking to King. Yes, I get to speak with all the players. You know, we all get on. But yeah, me and King, we were speaking now. We're actually watching them scrim, and they're actually trying to practice the quickest route to that mythic vault. It shows how much they're going to prioritize that. They're making sure they get there as quickly as possible, because the loot that's in there is absolutely valuable.
Well, you've heard our thoughts on it, but why don't we head on over to Frankie, who once again has a head-to-head for us. Take a look.
Thank you. Yes, I have been very fortunate to be joined by Cal Gamer, who is the king of the Middle Eastern region, but also King himself, one of our Argentine players who's representing Brazil. And both of these players have won 2 majors alone this year. We're also joined by Daniela, our fabulous translator. So Cal Gamer, I'd love to speak to you first. I know that you are someone who researches your opponents. Have you watched any of King's matches, and do you have any opinions on how he plays?
I haven't watched him that much, but I watched a little bit, and I realized how he plays, and he's not very good.
And why would you say you're a better player than King?
I mean, it's just the facts. You know, he's not that good.
Are you going to put your money where your mouth is later, though? Because you are dropping at the same spot as him on Relentless Retreat.
Yes, I don't really want to talk too much. I mean, after a few hours, we're going to play and see what happens.
Shukran, okay. Well, I'll go and talk to King then while you get your thoughts in order, and we'll come over to Daniela as well. King, you are arguably the greatest player in the Brazilian region right now. Tell me why Relentless Retreat, though, is a spot that you're going to win when you drop on it against Cal Gamer later.
¿Cómo vas a hacer el drop spot ahí cuando vas a bajar del bus? ¿Cómo lo vas a cuál es tu método?
La verdad es que no tenemos ningún método, solo que nosotros tenemos nuestra parte, que es la derecha del spot, así que nada, si ellos van a querer caer ahí, lo van a tener que disputar con nosotros, y nada, ojalá que ganen, que tengan suerte.
We don't have like a method that we're gonna do, but we're gonna attack from the right side, and we hope we're gonna win, and we will do because we are the best. Yeah.
Cal Gamer has given his opinion on you, but what's your opinion on Cal Gamer? Have you seen him play?
La verdad que sí, hemos visto varios games, pero la verdad que no me asusta, ya que bueno, yo estoy confiado junto con mi dúo, y nada, si van a querer disputar la OEA, podrían pelear tranquilos, que nada, los esperamos, no tengo miedo.
We are waiting for them. We see them playing, and they're not so good like they thought. And I'm sorry, it's Argentinian, so he talks too fast. So he will fight until the end.
I'm really looking forward to the fights. Hopefully the end will be in the aim game for both of these players rather than at the Relentless Retreat. Thank you so much, gracias, mucho gracias. And Shukran, thank you so much for talking to me, Cal Gamer. We will see what happens between these two and their duo partners when they drop on Relentless Retreat in just a few short moments.
So they can't both be bad.
They just have no respect for each other, do they? Like, no, mate, you're not having it.
He's bad, he's bad, we're both bad. Of course, just some friendly trash talk, right, as we prepare for the global championship. That's kind of, I guess they're both in high spirits. That's kind of where you want to be, right?
Yeah.
Trying to get in each other's head, aren't they, really? That's all it is.
Yeah, sure.
I was like, I don't even want to. You know what? That's fine. Just
Yeah,
leave
so
one
that'll
there.
do.
That'll do. Guys, we actually have something very special lined up, and we have a remote interview with the man, the myth, the legend himself, my oldest friend in the world, Cypher BK. Cypher, I don't know if you can hear it, but the crowd is going absolutely ham right now. How you doing, man?
Yo, I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here for the FNCS Global Championship, even though it's remote. I'm excited to watch a ton of Fortnite this weekend, and I am personally rooting for Clix and Epic Whale. I want to see Clix get his first FNCS championship.
That is amazing. Dude, how has it been? Like, obviously, you've been watching, right? We've seen all of these duos just kind of grow and evolve over the year. What are your expectations for the competition?
I mean, I want to see a repeat of what happened at the Invitational. Just like a super intense, like, first and second going head-to-head in the last match. I think we're going to see something. We're going to see some early drop fights and whatnot. But, yeah, I was there at the Invitational. It was just electric, and I'm hoping we see that again here in Copenhagen.
How crazy was it back in Invitational, right? Kind of the first time we'd had a land like that, and now we're back, but the stakes feel so much higher. You talked to a bunch of players. What were they kind of feeling at that time?
I mean, everyone is always a little nervous before the tournament, but I think once they're in the battle bus, like, it's game time, and the stakes are really high. I mean, what? This is like the biggest prize pool since World Cup. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like $1 million for the first place duo. That's a life-changing amount of money. So I think it's going to be intense. It's going to be insane.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Cypher, for those of you or them out there that don't know who you are, can you tell us a little bit about who you are? Because I want everyone in the world to know about you.
I mean, I am a very big Fortnite fan. I've been playing it since the very beginning. I was honored to be among the Icon series last year, and it's just, I'm still loving this game, and I'm super excited to see what you guys have cooked up for the last couple of months of this year, because it's looking crazy.
That's awesome. Cypher, where can all these new fans find you?
Cypher PK on pretty much any platform.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much for stopping by. We really appreciate it. We hope you enjoy the competition.
Thanks, y'all. Good luck out there.
Going crazy. That's right. Y'all can go crazy for Cypher BK. He's a legend. Y'all, this crowd is the best crowd I think we have ever had.
Yeah.
And that's great because we're going to see next level Fortnite. I don't know that I'm like prepared for what we're going to see this weekend.
I mean, I know the crowd already. I've seen a lot of cheering so far. There's a group over there. I think they're from Gentle Mates from the French region. They've been really hyped, and you can see them over there. There we go. I don't know if you can hear it, but yeah, they're really hyped. I'm excited to see all the other regions that are taking part today. All the fans. I'm feeling excited.
Listen, I know that the fans in the audience are ready, but I want to know if the players are ready.
True.
That's right. Well, we are not that far away, so you've gotten our thoughts. Why don't we get the thoughts of our casters as we draw ever closer to the competition?
Yeah, I must say, especially after watching the head-to-head interviews there, that I'm feeling so good, and I'm looking forward to, of course, the competition of the contention that we're going to see on the drops.
And what I love the most, too, is that it's one thing to know your drop spot, but for all of these representative regions, you have to keep in mind it's the international competition. It's the global championship. So just knowing your drop isn't good enough because every region is going to have their own sort of flair for the competitive meta. And it's going to be a really interesting dynamic to see how some of these players choose to break into it, because even at the Invitational where we last saw some international competition, one thing where I think some of the other regions in general might have struggled with was the surge strategy. So I want to see how well it's been wrapped up to be brought here today.
Well, we know a couple teams aren't going to have any surge issues. It's those that, of course, are competing against one another, especially Kanata. Let's just back up here and really touch base about the problems that he's going to face right now. Kanata and Agers are surely, two of NA's best, right? And they have a difficult task in front of them. Thomas HD, Malibuca, right? He was really honing in on the fact that he has been playing all weekend long, and he feels like Kanata's focus isn't quite there. Is that going to be the default in his playset?
And that's the false sense of security that Kanata's trying to implement into Thomas's brain right there, because at the end of the day, Kanata is a competitor. I mean, he is one of the few players that we have here that's actually got some of the most FNCS appearances.
Well, you know what? We've had a long road to get here, and all of a sudden, we are closing in on it. So let's go ahead and dim the lights. Fortnite fam. A year-long competition has led us here to Copenhagen. These players have fought through the FNCS gauntlet, 3 FNCS majors, and a last chance major, all to battle it out here on this stage. These players have put everything into this competition. 6 regions, all going head-to-head to prove who's the best. But it's about so much more than just that. It's about holding the axe of champions high. It's about hoisting a championship trophy, banking their share of $4 million. But above all else, it's about a title that comes with the highest prestige, FNCS Global Champions. After this weekend, one duo will break through and stand undeniably above the rest. So get ready. This is the FNCS Global Championship.
The stage is ready. The trophy is here. But you can't crown a champion if there are no contenders. Copenhagen Royal Arena, are you ready to meet the players? Let's bring them on.
They're gonna come to the stage right now, and of course, most importantly, it's the battle that they had to fight through to be here. Bullying their way through the Shockwave Hammer meta, one of the most destructive seasons.
They have to brace for chaos as these players now step into the most chaotic environment they have faced all year long. And with 196 total finals appearances spread amongst all of them, they are here to show exactly why they're the forerunners of their respective regions.
And you think about it, they had the first chances, the first opportunities put in front of them, and they did just that. They secured it, and here they are. Let's go, Copenhagen. Y'all went absolutely crazy for the players. That is what we are here for. We don't have this competition without them, so y'all definitely feel free to lose it when you guys see them come out on the stage. My gosh, that is just the qualifiers from Major number 1. There's so many big names. Thomas HD, though. Malibuca. That's we have eyes on.
Yeah, well, I mean, I heard a massive cheer.
Yeah.
And we're hearing it right now.
I wonder why.
I wonder who they're cheering for. Is it Thomas HD?
Yeah, I think
it might well be, because he is the Danish man himself. What a perfect player when you think about all of his attributes. So smart. His aim is next level. And of course, paired up with Malabuka. This is a dangerous duo. Only bad thing, contested today. But they have so much skill in this duo that they should be able to overcome the problem.
We've seen sometimes being contested can be a little bit beneficial.
Sure,
and we
sure.
saw them have an incredible performance in Major 1, getting second place and only losing by just a single point. They are the best team to have never won an FNCS, but I think that they may be changing that this weekend.
That would be so crazy, right? No FNCS title, but a global championship title?
Yeah.
That would be next level. We talked about EU. How about we gone over to NA, Acorn, and Cold? I feel like so many players and fans alike talked about this duel when they won, saying this is probably one of the best duels in NA, period.
Yeah, there was a lot of hype around this duo when they performed in Major number 1, of course, coming out with a great performance. I like this duo. You sort of combine a really, really big brain IGL in Acorn and arguably one of the best fraggers in NA in Cold. This kid is crazy, and I'm expecting to bring that dynamic. You can see them on the screen right now. They're looking happy. They're looking excited, and they should be because they're a top team.
And we saw what Cold can do on a LAN setting at the
Er is een
Invitational.
13-jarig kind daar, hè?
Place finish with his recent or his old duo mate Scented, and I mean their placements outside of Major 1 was 6th in both Major 2 and Major 3. So even when they're doing their worst, it is still so vastly better than most of the competition.
Now, of course, that was a look at just the qualified players for Major number 1. We have 2 more to go. So please give a warm welcome for your qualified players from Major number 2.
The kinetic blade was the season. It was also the problem that they had to learn how to overcome, learn how to make theirs, and perform to the best of their capabilities because, my oh my, what a destructive time it was.
They really had to slice their way through the competition to qualify for globals. But more impressive still is the sheer amount of experience this particular group of contenders carries with them. Considering 18 out of 24 of them have played on a LAN stage here before.
Can you imagine having that experience, bundling it all up and then putting it out right here in front of you where there is your chance to make the bulk of $4 million.
Als jij wil, wat doen, kijk, ik vind het ook wel leuk om zo te kijken.
Can they step up? Can they perform here now? As the times and options are limited. There's only 5 games.
Heb je al gelopen?
I mean, if that was it, right? If that was just the let's go, everyone's here, let's hit play, I believe that's a grand finals lobby. There's still more seats to be filled, but as we focus in on the qualifiers for Major number 2, Queasy, Benno. This stadium went crazy when they walked by that trophy. Some would say these are the villains of this arc, right? These are the guys that went up against Seti and Cammy and fell short. Now they want to come back. They want to come back even stronger than a year ago.
Yeah, definitely one of the best teams in EU. I think that's without doubt number 1, number 2, number 3, one of those 3, because these guys are absolutely incredible. We saw in Major number 2, 12 game grand finals, 6 victory royales. I don't understand how that's even possible. And then arguably the biggest upset when of course they didn't qualify to Major 3 grand finals. How does that affect their mentality going to this? Is this now a bit of a redemption for them? Not winning an invitational, not making Major 3 grand finals. What a better time to do it.
Listen, the whole adage, you know, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, or shame on you, or whatever. It may be something like that.
Not good at those.
They changed their drop spot at the Invitational, and it potentially cost them that first place spot. And then in Major 3, they changed their drop spot again and didn't even qual. So I think that they're going to be sticking to their guns and going Kenjutsu Crossing and potentially going to be coming out on top in day 1.
There are so many big names. We have to continue the conversation. Miro and Cooper now kind of focusing in on NA. Miro just ridiculously decorated.
Yeah, a really, really decorated player in the NA region. Won so many FNCS titles, paired up with a less experienced player. And this is a really nice storyline because you have the experience of Miro. He's actually not IGLing this year. It's usually Cooper that takes that role. And he's actually saying, you know what? I'll take the reins. I'll use your experience when it comes to fragging because Miro's just one of the best in the world at that. And of course, he can lead the way, lead the tarps, and make sure they make their way to endgame. This is one of those duos that I'm really, really excited to see how they perform on LAN because both of them are very, very talented, but together, we're yet to see them in this stage.
No, but we did see them perform incredibly well in Major 2, getting a second place finish. And I think Rumble Ruins is a great POI for them, being in the center, being able to handle rotations, which seems to be a little bit of an issue for them in earlier seasons. So I'm excited to see. Miro, obviously, as you were saying, an incredible player, a 5-time FNCS champ. However, most of those wins were with his old duo mate, Bugha.
Absolutely. Well, we have one group of players left, so Arena, welcome them. This is your qualified players from Major number 3.
And as we all know, Fortnite is ever changing and evolving season to season. You never really know what you are going to get, but guess what? This team, these players had to go against the zero mobility when it was arguably so difficult.
And what they might have lacked in mobility, they certainly made up for as far as adaptability is concerned. Because having gone through every single iteration of competitive seasons, competitive metas, to find themselves here at the global stage, that is the embodiment of mental fortitude.
And really and truly, it's one of the hardest things to do, is when it's your last chances, when it's your last opportunities to punch your way straight through to the biggest opportunity of your career. And it's time to put up those numbers. Can you do it? Surely all of our Major 3 qualifiers had to play with that pressure. They had to play with that knowingly, you know, a looming pressure of, hey, I can only do this one more time.
And again, considering what's at stake, considering that they want to go straight in to that finals lobby here on Sunday, this is their moment to siege it all.
That's right. There are no more chances up for grabs here other than the 5 that's put in front of them. You want to do it here and now. Will you be one of the first top 25 duos to punch through to Sunday? We'll find out.
I know you felt that. These are incredible players. This is 50 of the very best. The upper bracket, all facing off today. You can feel it. The atmosphere is electric. It's not just this amazing crowd. It is every single one of these players. They all know what they have to do. Top 25 by the end of the day.
Yeah, this is it. This is our lobby. I mean, we haven't spoken about, in depth. How can we not? Bugha, the man himself. What a player, of course, the World Cup winner. How many times have we said World Cup winner? Does anyone need to be reminded at this stage? World Cup winner? No. No, not really.
Never. I mean, Bugha and Threats, I love this duo here. Bugha obviously having the history and the knowledge, with Threats having just some of the most insane aim in the game. Having these two powerhouses together definitely excites me. And what excites me even more is that they're landing Sanguine Sweeps, one of the new POIs, where they're going to have those 2 mythic podiums. And it has absolutely insane amount of chests, ammo, and loot. So even though they're going to be contested by Nutty, I don't think that's going to be too much of a concern for them.
Yeah, and I was speaking to Threats yesterday. I was saying, how are you going to approach that off spawn? He said, mate, there's so much loot at this drop spot. We're not too concerned about fighting each other off spawn, but we want that vault. They're going to be going for that vault every single game, so we'll see how it goes for them.
So insane. More duos to talk about. Iamzo and Rise, front runners from NA, a duo that all of us just feel and expect such greatness from them. Now the question becomes, how do they perform on LAN?
Yeah, the Canadian duo here, a lot of people had a lot of expectations for them going into Major 3. Donda's the best team in NA at that time. Didn't quite live up to that first place, but still managed to get a third place overall. Lots and lots of hype around this team. We haven't seen them perform on LAN yet, so this is going to be a very, very big test for them. Will they live up to that hype? Will the weight lay on their shoulders a little bit and maybe put a little bit too much pressure on them? I'm not sure, but either way, they have the talent.
I mean, you're talking about third place in Major 3, but I don't think that paints the full picture, because in Major 1, they also got a